You also wanted to know about how do I get more citations?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So just talking about content strategy, really, I think that's the big
Yeah.
focus of marketers at the moment.
We have a number of called AI visibility guides that talk about how to increase your chances of being cited. As with traditional SEO, like all you can do is put your best foot out forward and hope that they pick you up. So that's part of it.
Is it still a bit of a long game then in terms of getting the AI citations, or?
It doesn't have to be. SpyGlasses launched 10 weeks ago.
Right.
So when you think about having 1,500 a week, five or
Yeah.
6,000 mentions a month at this point, does not have to be that long. You do want to have the foundations in place.
Yeah.
So technical foundations, obviously make sure you're not already blocking the content here. The other thing that I know from experience is what they call the JSON LD schema.
Yeah.
It becomes a big part more of getting cited inside the AI models themselves than in the web pages. But it is something that you want to do to show the AI how your tools are interconnected.
Yeah, it gives your content some more structure, right? I've implemented it on a few pages, but I want to do it on more. But even thinking about adding an about page, so I can put like a persona or company markup schema on there just to get my face and my business out there more.
Yeah, that organization's important. FAQ, AI loves the FAQ schema because it uses those to, when people ask the specific question that matches your FAQ question, it ready-made answer right for it to cite.
Nice.
So,
that's great advice.
Very useful. The other thing that I find is very useful is when you're writing blog posts, whether it be for SEO or just to get knowledge out there, make sure that it's of type blog post or article, and make sure that it's got an author associated with it, because it will give credit to the blog post based on its understanding of the Google EEAT, the authority and trust and all that of the author itself.
Interesting. Do you think that can be in terms of community posts, things like Reddit? Do you think they're applying like an author to all the posts that they're having, or is that?
I don't believe Reddit is, just because most Reddit is anonymous. Most people don't even set a screen name. There's no way to attach it to those types of things. But if your platform is in Crunchbase, or you've been featured on Product Hunt or something else, some other thing that's got your name, then I do think there's some connection there. So it's definitely worth pulling those. Also, if you can get guest authors, make sure that you're associating their JSON schema with your platform so that you'll get their authority attached. The other thing that's interesting to know is what's called the query fan out. What we saw in SpyGlasses is the raw AI mentions, but each one of those started with some user typing something. So that's a prompt, right? This is what they've typed, and that's what generates a response from the AI. When ChatGPT, Perplexity, when someone enters a prompt that has a research focus, someone's asking a question that the AI decides, oh, I need to go find information from the web. What they do is they create a series of fan out web searches. Right. So if I'm looking for best wireless headphones under $200, I might get a query that's best budget headphones, best overall headphones, and several others. So it will run those in parallel and then aggregate all the data together and then present you with that summary. So with ChatGPT, this actually just runs against Bing, the Bing search engine. So that's what's used behind the scene. So understanding what those searches are and knowing when you rank for them is a good predictor of whether or not you'll be included in a citation.
That's interesting. I do have a quick question regarding that. I was doing a little bit of discovery on ChatGPT mobile app the other day, and it did actually come up with a blue link, which I hadn't seen before, a few blue links. And I was going to click on one, and it came up with a warning message that that specific site might find out information about my particular search query. And I've never seen that before. And I was going to take a screenshot, but it's almost like the product I was going to click on could find out what my search history was. And I found that a little bit intrusive. And I haven't seen it before.
I haven't personally experienced that. And I've been on the receiving end of 13 or so million AI visits that I've collected here. And so I'm looking at headers. Is there anything you can discern? This is the classic marketing challenge, balancing privacy versus data,
Yes.
So I haven't seen that, but I will definitely keep an eye out for something like that. The only thing I can imagine it might be is that the link has some sort of like a query string parameter attached to it that might indicate something about what's going on, like clicking through. Not sure though.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I imagine they'd probably start doing stuff like that when they bring in ads into
Which is almost certainly happening. Yes. I think so. Get ready to bid for key prompts, I think, in the near future. Yes.
Okay, cool. What other things are there any other phases to?
Yes. The next phase here is talking more about off-platform authority and credibility. So citations in industry platforms, research, podcasts, webinars, things like this that we're doing here, that sort of thing. Press releases suddenly are now a thing that actually matter again. For a while there, it seemed like that was not going the way of the dodo, but a press release now that is linked on authoritative sites, again, that has summarizable content and identifies your brand, is actually, you don't have to do it frequently, but it is something that you should probably invest in as part of this longer term strategy.
Okay, that's great advice.
The next thing to consider is platform specific features here. I think the last thing that I want to talk about, and I think it's somewhere in here, is how to get ChatGPT to add or update content. Because it uses Bing, Bing supports what they call the IndexNow protocol. So relatively technical, but what this is a way to basically inform Bing that I have new content or updated content, and I would like you to update your index.
Right.
And Google, you hit and hope, right? There's a way to submit new content through Search Console, but who knows? Bing actually, through this IndexNow platform, will actually go through and cite. I think the average turnaround time that I've seen for this is like 3 to 4 days when you submit a new piece of content using IndexNow.
Wow.
And so what you need is you generate a key, and when you submit new pieces of content, you put the key on your site, and then when you submit it, send the key so it knows it's coming from you, and it will go back and will make sure that, yes, this is a valid request to submit because you have the matching key, and it will put it into its crawl index.
Okay.
So
I've got a question on that. I've got my site on Google Search Console, and I was just then confused with what used to be called Google Webmaster Tool. I've seen previously to that.
Yes.
It's Bing as well. I haven't actually got it on Bing yet. So do you recommend adding it to, is it Bing Webmaster?
Yeah, there is a Bing. You don't have to.
Yeah.
I do feel like because Bing is powering ChatGPT, it is probably getting less attention than it should in 2025 compared to Google Search Console. But old habits die hard. So we've got documents here for various platforms that just talk about some of the tips and tricks that we've discovered in how to get ChatGPT to more likely to crawl your content. This talks about brand mentions, so you don't necessarily need links and things like that. Yeah, so these are playbooks for going through. So the goal with SpyGlasses and this analytics, as with any other analytics tool, is to be the ground truth for your SEO strategy. As SEO shifts to AI, you need this sort of ground truth. If you're doing your job right, you should be seeing these links should be going up and to the right. So that's what you want to see is over time. So if I go to 90 days, this is what you want to see. This section here low, and then you want to see it crawling up there. That's your goal. That's how your efforts are not being wasted.
Yeah, definitely. I can imagine hopefully my graph will be like that. Will be peaking.
Only way to find out is measure it. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Is there any more kind of things in terms of content worth mentioning in terms of optimization, or do you feel that you covered?
The other thing that I find is useful is to run a consistency audit on your brand.
Right.
And that, I think, is for two things. One is to make sure that the AI is actually accurately reflecting your site. And then also to make sure that when people do search for prompts that you know you're interested in, that you are cited. So
Makes sense.
we have a visibility report that does that here. So it will give you brand consistency, share of voice, and then ties back into those recommendations here. So if I was to pull up one for, let's say, Zoom Communications here, checking their brand consistency.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can run these just by dropping a domain name in. What it does is it goes out and it crawls up to 5 pages of your website and just summarizes them in the traditional 5 questions that a marketer might ask. What is name of brand? Who is it for? What are its features? What are its differentiators? So it'll pull all that together. And then it goes off and it asks the various AIs, hey, what do you know about this particular company with and without the web browsing feature turned on? Awesome. So it will pull, here's what it knows. And then it semantically compares the snapshot we took against what the AI says and tells you like, hey, it either got it wrong or got it right. This gives you your, what do I need to do to fix it?
Yeah, that's awesome. Does that spit it out as a page that you can share?
Yeah. Okay. Shareable. We don't quite have PDF yet because PDF is very difficult in software, but working on that too. But yes, that's the idea. We find that you don't need to run these frequently. You want to run them when you make a major update, when the AI models change. So we've actually implemented this without a subscription. Run the report, you get most of the data, and then you just pay a one-time fee to unlock it.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I'll definitely give my site a go in there. I might just give it a few weeks first. It's pretty fresh still. That's awesome. I do have some questions for you. Separately. What's on the roadmap for your product? Because I think innovation and keeping ahead of the competition.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing that I found very early on and in the process of building out the analytics tool is when you can detect an AI visit to your site, you can influence them. As a old school marketer, you probably remember the days of SEO gaming where you can do like white links on white text and all sorts of keyword stuffing to artificially influence your rankings. And we don't want to go all the way back to that. But what we've discovered is that AI will follow what they call temporary redirects. So if you tell the AI, oh, actually, this content's over here, it will go visit that page instead. So the next version of SpyGlasses will not just record, but it will actually give you an AI favorable template that you can edit without having to go make expensive changes to your website or affect the underlying content at all. Basically just stripping out all the images and the beautiful design and things that the AI doesn't care about, and just giving it the H1, the summary, the FAQ, the features, that all the things in a compact instance that it can use to summarize your content in AI chat. And do that in a platform. So again, you don't have to engage your webmaster to make any changes to your website or anything. You can just make those up there. You can run A/B tests on it and all those kind of things.
That's awesome. And when is that due to come out?
Yes. As with anything in software, the future is notoriously difficult to predict. But we're very hopeful to have this out by the end of the year to be able to go into the new year 2026 with this capability.
Awesome. Okay. And then I was going to ask you, what do you think the future of the website is? Because I wrote a post the other day that, I mean, a lot of, in terms of commerce, especially, the LLMs could literally take over your website and you just literally feed it back end. So you're basically, everyone's just dropping inside there. So I do worry about it a little bit in terms of business.
As well. So my future here is that the AI and the AI just fight it out with each other. When you go to a website, there's already a chatbot will pop up and you can chat with it. It knows information about the product. It knows features. It can even give you a video demo in some cases. You can ask pricing questions. You can ask things that are not easy to find. I think if you've got an AI, on one side and an AI on the other, eventually they're just going to start talking to each other. So what you'll find is for a complex B2B search, I might go out and say, I'm looking for, let's say, an SEO specialist to optimize my site. I might ask ChatGPT, hey, go pull a short list together. Here's my criteria. Here's my budget. I want people who have this many verified reviews. And it will go out and it will pull a list together. And then it will ask them, if it can't intuit the information from the website, it will ask their agent, and they will engage in a negotiation as to whether or not they're in the short list. And it will pull up a list of recommendations, maybe even book demos for you. I don't think we're quite to the level of purchasing a service for you yet. And maybe we could get there. But I think 80% of that funnel probably going to be AI to AI.
Yeah. And when do you think that's likely to happen, in the next 2 years, or too hard to predict?
Every time I try to predict something, AI is faster, right?
Yeah.
I've been working in technology since 1997, so the internet, and this is the fastest adoption that I've seen of any component of technology. It outpaces even my expectations.
Yeah.
So I worry that I'd predict 2 or 3 years and it might be next year. Hard to say.
Yeah. Good point. Can you see a future where ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity might have to start paying content creators for their content, because essentially they need new content? So it's a little bit out there, but
well, not really, because Cloudflare just back in July or so launched an actual paper crawl protocol.
Right.
And so they big fanfare blog posts. So if you enable this on your site, instead of giving you the content, if it recognizes you're a bot, it will give you a tip jar, for lack of a better phrase, like a buster, like that kind of thing. So you put a buck in and go. I don't believe that it's gone anywhere at this point, but it is definitely something that folks are thinking about, is a paper crawl. What I'm more interested in is they've built an authentication framework for bots. So you can verify that this is coming from actual ChatGPT as opposed to somebody spoofing that. That's an interesting trend.
Yeah.
I really don't see that becoming a thing. There are just too many companies are willing to give their content freely because they want to be where the customers are and the prospects are.